Okay, everyone, big deep breath. Ready? Awesome. My name is Jen Cushman. I am an empathic intuitive, and as of today, I am a Blue Star Reiki master, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about. I first started doing Reiki 20 years ago when my son was little. He was a rough and tumble kid, and I knew he needed some energetic healing support. I knew he had his angels, but I always said that he was such a busy, busy, busy boy that there was no way I was ever going to be able to stay close enough to catch him when he fall. So I always had to catch him on the bounce. That was my big joke. And it's pretty much true. He did not like me to be too close to him or hover over him. And he wouldn't let me be a helicopter mom. So I had to learn really early not to be a helicopter mom. And he would just climb to the top of things. So he would fall and I would catch him on the bounce. Excuse me. I also have to tell you what's going on there a little bit, and I'll get to that. Okay. So I learned about Reiki at that point 20 years ago, and I was like, well, whatever I can do to keep this kid alive, along with the angels and guides, right? Because even then, I was really studying my metaphysics. And then I did my Reiki 1 attunement, and then my 2 attunement, and then I went back and I got my Reiki master after when my daughter was born and she was little. So, 10 years later, I went back and went up through the level and got the Reiki master. And then as of just yesterday, I took an intensive training, really intensive training all weekend long. And it was in Phoenix. It was a wonderful man named Doc Lyman. He goes by Reiki Rod, and he has the Reiki Academy in Phoenix, Arizona. And I found out about him through my sister, right? So I went yesterday to take this really intensive. You have to be a Reiki master in order to take the intensive, or at least I think you have to have at least level 2, maybe not master, but most everybody in there was a Reiki master or different quantum healing or other types of, there's, Rod himself has over 120 types of Reiki healing modalities and energies that he does. So yesterday I was doing this training, and I'm now a Blue Star Reiki master. And it's really interesting because the Blue Star came into my life at a really important time, as Reiki always does. Energy finds me. There's this saying that you guys know that says, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? So when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And hopefully I'm a teacher for a lot of you guys, and that I'm helping you. I do know I hear from you, Kim Olson Smith. You just popped on here, and you one of the first people that I immediately thought of when you said that, I'm teaching you new ideas. So I have been on a journey the last year of very intensive learning with my neurolinguistic programming master prac, coming up with my second week coming up here in November, which I'll be doing the mental emotional release and hypnosis, and then with the Blue Star Reiki this weekend. So the difference between Blue Star Reiki and regular Reiki is it took it and it turned it on its head and it turned it upside down. And it was so cool because we took our chakras, our regular chakra system that I talked to you guys about, that I teach about our chakra system, that I teach about how we have vibes, how as empaths we receive information and transmit information and pick up information, all through our chakra system and our nadis and our meridians and all of our bioelectrical energy points, which our hands have used biometrics in them, and our feet, we have biometric parts, which is why Reiki works so well. And it turned it all on its head. And what we did is we actually did energetically, we swapped our chakras. So that was a crazy experience, wonderful experience, but almost an out of body experience, because it takes my energy system that I know so well and that I run, and it switched it all around. So my root chakra became my crown chakra became my root chakra. And then my sacral chakra actually became my third eye chakra became my sacral chakra. My solar plexus chakra became my throat chakra became my solar plexus chakra. And then the heart, which is the bridge between your lower chakras and your upper chakras, remain the same, because your heart is honestly your most important chakra center. It is the one where you generate your highest vibration, the highest vibration in the universe and outside of the universe and all dimensions. The highest vibration is love. So no matter what happens, nothing ever messes with our heart chakra because it is our bridge. Our heart chakra is literally our bridge or our gateway between our lower chakras and our higher chakras. Now, our lower chakras deal with our three-dimensional, right? Basically our three-dimensional life. So survival, which is, your root chakra, which is survival and family. And then your second chakra is creativity and sexuality. Your third chakra is your power center. Your fourth is your heart. Your throat is fourth is your heart. Your fifth is your throat. Your sixth is your third eye, which is your intuition. And your seventh is your crown, which is your connection to source. Okay, that's just a quick little redo on your chakras. So basically, we took it and we just spun it and we flipped it. And I can tell you that as an energetic being and somebody who really works with the quantum field, with my Reiki, it switched everything around and it caused an incredible change in me. And my body today is still adjusting. So what that means is I've been having physical symptoms really since it started in the beginning of yesterday's class, and it's been going through. So I'm having physical digestive systems because if you guys know me, you know that that's where I had some surgeries done and where I was cut into at various times. So I always have a little bit of digestive things because of what's happened to me, my physical, cutting into of those things. So I've had some real digestive issues and I've had just gas. It's just like, it's just bubbling. It's bubbling to the surface and it's bubbling everywhere. So please forgive me today if I end up having some extra little burps or other things like that. I know it is rude and it is not something you ever want to do on a live stream, but it is my physical body adjusting to this major energetic change that I just went through this weekend. And I can tell you in Blue Star Reiki, there's seven symbols that come in from 1 and 2. And then there's the master level, which is another 7 symbols. And these symbols and these words like a chant are so powerful. And it is really amazing. And there's quite a difference between Usui Reiki, which is what I was trained in, and this Blue Star Reiki. Okay. Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Colleen. So that's what I just wanted to tell you about. So physically, there is something that it's a really important saying. It's actually one of my favorite sayings, and it goes way back. And it actually says, as above, so below, as above, so below. And it's in the ancient teachings, the Kybalion and some other ancient teachings. And what that really means is there's the spiritual plane and then there's the physical plane. And I talk to you guys about this almost every single Magic Monday. We also always have creation energy and we create everything twice. We create it first in our minds, and then we physically create it with our hands or manifest it or bring it out. So that is also a really key component of as above, so below, as above, so below. So one of the best things is when you really want to manifest your dream life and you really want to create your dream life, you think about it, right? You think about what you want. You think about the steps that you need to get there. You practice those steps in your mind of how to get there. And you say positive affirmations to yourself and positive things to make sure that that energy is forward moving as opposed to lean back. So positive as a forward to negative, high vibration as opposed to low vibration. When we tell ourselves all the reason we can't, should, don't, wouldn't do something, the energy we are putting into it, into that manifestation energy, we're putting lack, we're putting not into it. So it's very important that when you want to do high vibration and you want to manifest, and you want to manifest from, these upper chakras and all of the chakras, you want to use very high vibrational language. And that's why affirmations are awesome. Now, here's where affirmations don't work. You have to believe it. You have to feel it and you have to believe it. If you don't actually believe it in your mind, if you don't believe it in your heart, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what your throat chakra says. You can say it 1,000,000 times, but unless you truly believe it in your heart or in your head, it's not a true affirmation. It's just candy. It's good for you. It tastes good, right? Like M&Ms, but unless you stick a peanut in there, a little bit of protein, it's really not going to help you. So, so using a food analogy, because I love it, affirmations need the protein, affirmations need the peanut, which is it needs the belief system. If you are trying to say an affirmation and you can't get there, that, my friends, is emotional baggage. That is emotional baggage. That is limiting beliefs. That is learned behavior. That is model behavior that is taught to you. And you are not being aware of it. Your unconscious mind is aware of it, but your conscious mind isn't. So just a little tip on there, off topic, but let me do a lateral chunk back to what I want to talk about. So one of the things that happened, we reviewed yesterday, which was really pretty amazing because there were techniques to expand our awareness and expand our consciousness. One of the things that we reviewed yesterday that was really amazing and important for me that I wanted to share with you guys today is the 9 levels of consciousness. And I don't know if you've heard this. This is an esoteric theory. And the reason why I say theory is because in my belief system, spirituality, religion, just like anything else, really, unless it can actually be scientifically proven, it's a theory, okay? It's a belief system. And spirituality and faith is a belief system. So knowing that the truth of spirituality, the truth of religion, the truth of a belief system relies on you, your model of the world, and how you see it. Now, a lot of religion is passed on from the way we are raised and the way we are taught. But when we become an adult, we have the ability to look at that. We have the ability to look at anything and everything in our lives and to actually say, is this truth for me now? As an adult, is this truth for me now? What do I think of this theory? What do I think of this belief? Does this serve me? Okay, so really important part there. So I'm going to talk to you about the 9 levels of consciousness, which I'm going to say is a theory. Okay, however, that said, this rings really true for me because I've heard it before and it was great to review it. So the first level consciousness is survival, right? That's human survival. It directly relates to our root chakra, which is survival. That's what it is. So that's level 1, okay? When you're in survival mode, you are in survival mode. You can't have any other thought other than eat, sleep, exist, survive, okay? Most of us these days, because of our technology, our expanding technology, and particularly in our first world countries, we have all of the comforts that we need that we don't need to be in survival mode. Most of us have enough food. Most of us have enough money. Most of us have enough jobs. We have jobs. We have a way to generate money. We have a house. We have a place to live. Now, is it everything you want it to be? Maybe, maybe not. That's manifesting your dream life. But most of us are not in survival mode, okay? And also in first world countries, people who are in survival mode, there is a choice a lot of times, or not necessarily a choice. There is something more going on, which is addictions or mental illness or other things. And not to discount any of that, I have huge, huge respect and awareness for the problems that we have in this country regarding those issues. However, I'm not talking about them in today's topic, okay? We're just going to put those aside right now. So, first level of consciousness, awareness. Second level of consciousness is creativity and sexuality, okay? Once you're done with survival, you've got to find a way to reproduce. You've got a way to keep the species going. So that's really your second level of consciousness. That's why so many people, we partner up, right? We get married, we have relationships, we do this, we have children, we have all of those things because it's a basic human need for sexuality and partnership and companionship. It doesn't have to be done in a partner. We find community, we find friends, we have great girlfriends, we have good, guy friends. It doesn't matter. We find our community in that way, also family and second chakra. But it is also here about creativity because it is our creativity in our second chakra and our creativity in the second level of manifestation that allows us to put our energy out into the world. And remember, everything's energy. So we have to generate energy. We have to harvest energy, which means we have to make sure we hold enough of it for ourselves. And then we push it out into the world, which is our creation energy. Okay. Everything has that cycle: birth, being in the middle of it, creation, and then death. And then you start the cycle back over again. So that is the cycle of life. And that is the second level of human consciousness. And then we get to the third level, and the third level is our physical reality. So that is our physical plane that we have right now. That is our houses, that is our cars, that is our clothing, that is our wardrobe, that is our physical going to the gym, all of those things. So all of that. So that is our 3D reality. So you will hear me on Magic Mondays talk about 3D, right? I'll bring up three-dimensional world, 3D world. That means that is our world in front of us. That is the world right here, that I'm in my house, you're in your house. We're on our Magic, and on Magic Mondays, I'm doing a live, I'm doing a teaching. You were there, we get done, you get on with your life, you get back to work, whatever you do, that is our three-dimensional reality. Most human beings live in a 3D world. That is the news, right? That is what we see, know, and experience as our reality in an everyday life. That is 3D. Now, fourth level of consciousness is the gateway. So the fourth level is when you start to wake up, or you start to have some awareness. It's also, in the spiritual community, it's also called the remembering phase. It is the part where you just start to have these gut feelings. In my Soul Stir Magic page, I call them the whispers of the soul, right? That is when your soul self, your higher self, you get to a place in your life where these whispers start, where you just know and feel there is something beyond this three-dimensional physical reality of ours. Now, you can have these, a lot of people, myself included, had this knowing from when you were young, right? So I've known, a very, very long time. When I was little, I just knew things that I shouldn't have known. I knew things that other people didn't know. I felt and played with imaginary, with my imaginary friends, and my imaginary friends were angels, okay? So I've had that a really long time. And even with that being a really long time, I didn't really wake up to expanded consciousness until when I was 20. That's when I actually started to look at my religious teachings from my background. I started looking at things. I questioned whether God existed. Was there a God? Was there not? That's when I started all of that questioning phase, was in my 20s. And in my 30s, that's when I found metaphysics, when I was 30 years old. And that was what kind of really changed my life, because I was searching and I was being a seeker. So the fourth dimension is searching and it's seeking. And that's where a lot of you guys are with me, my magical community. A lot of people are in that fourth and fifth dimension, okay? That's where you've waken up, there is an unseen, you have angels and guides, or even if you don't know you have them, you believe in them, they exist. It's where you start getting beyond your teachings of your childhood and your youth. That's where you really make a decision on how you feel about your own sense of spirituality and your own sense of religion. Okay, so fourth is the awakening, or the gateway. Fifth is awareness. It really is it's the real true awareness that there is an as above, so below, that there is an expanded consciousness, that there is something bigger and greater than ourselves. And it's not just, excuse me, let me have a drink. It's not just our belief system. It's actually more, it goes into that knowing again. So it's that fifth dimension consciousness. And you hear, if you read anything in the conscious community, in the spiritual community, you will read and you will talk about how for a while we've been really moving from 3D into 4D and to 5D, right? Now, it's hard to, unless you're really following it and you're studying it, what is 4D and what is 5D? So that's what I'm telling you about, okay? So fifth is really that awareness of it. And then sixth and seventh is kind of where you hit your upper limit. So there is for most people, let's see, how do I say this? Excuse me again. Excuse me. So for most people that meditate, if you are a meditator or if you're first starting to meditate, you can get to that place where you're quiet. You can use a mantra, you can use other things, you can use music, whatever, to help you get to this meditative space. Most people aren't really able to hold that meditative space, beyond 15 minutes, 15, 30 minutes top. You have to really know what you are doing and been doing it for a while and really trained your body to be able to do an hour meditation. That's a long time to be able to do that. But in that meditative state, when you're being quiet and you're trying to expand your consciousness or expand your awareness, that's when your brain waves go lower from our beta, which is our waking, functioning beta waves, which is what I'm doing right now. And then it starts going into different theta waves and delta waves, and the other, where we're taking our brain and we're literally slowing down the wavelength of our brain to expand our awareness and expand our consciousness, in the hopes that we are going to have a different experience, that we are going to find peace within, that we're going to find comfort, that we're going to be able to hear our guides and angels, that we're going to feel our guides and angels, that we're going to touch into our inner intuition that we all have. So I'm keeping an eye on the time, you guys. Touch into that inner intuition. We are all born in an intuitive, open, intuitive state. When we are babies, we cannot communicate. We are helpless. We need our mom and our dad and somebody to be a caregiver and take care of us. So we are all instinct. We are all feeling, and we are all intuitive. So we are just emoting whatever we can as babies to be able to get our energy out and be able to get our basic survival needs met. So my belief system is we are all born intuitive. Now, some of us are born highly sensitive, which is usually about 15 to 20% of the population, highly sensitive and empaths, right? Some of us are born where we have a little bit different nervous system. We actually do. And that makes us even more sensitive. So if you were an empath, I'm not saying better or worse. I'm not using those terminology. I'm just saying that you may be more sensitive than others. And you may be highly sensitive, such as myself. I'm an empath, I'm highly sensitive. A lot of you on here are empaths and you're highly sensitive. Some of you are aware empaths. Some of you are conscious empaths. Some of you are unconscious empaths, okay? The unconscious empaths on you that are here, you are basically the unpaid, walking, knowing psychics of the world, okay? You are psychic, you are intuitive, and you are walking around the world open. Your nervous system is open, and you are feeling all the feels, you are feeling all the vibes. You are probably clairsentient, which means you feel it, claircognizant, which means you see it, clairaudient, you hear it, and I always get this wrong. Clair-knowing, but the clair-knowing, you know it, right? You absolutely know it. So if you are, I see the hearts and stuff going on, which is great. So if you are walking around the world like that, people are coming to you for your wisdom. They're coming to you for your guidance. You're like the person, you are the go-to person in your friends, because you are the one who can feel it, see it, smell it, know it. And you're just walking around. So you're like an untrained, unpaid psychic out there. So you're just giving people psychic advice all the time. See, this is why you guys are here. I'm getting all the hearts and the love, because you resonate. You know that this is you. And I know it's you because you wouldn't be here with me if it wasn't, because energy, vibration matches. So the energy I put out there, that's the energy I'm bringing back, you guys. That's my clients. When I do my readings, when I do my Reiki hours, when I do my stuff, I'm talking to you because I'm putting my energy out there, and like attracts like, so it's coming back, okay? So you guys, so when you're meditating, you can be in that 6th and 7th dimension. That is the dimension of higher self. It is the dimension of the higher realm. It's when you can start understanding that you are not really separate from your higher power, whatever your higher power is. That's when you know that you are all one. You also start to have the understanding that we are all one, and there really is no separateness, okay? So when that guy on the freeway cuts you off and he's a big jerk and your first inclination is to flip him off, The reality is, you flip him off because he's being a jerk, but in a higher state of consciousness, you understand that you're just flipping off yourself, because we are all a mirror to each other, right? So why would you flip yourself off? Because that's not being very nice. So that's where we start to get more compassion. When we're able to meditate, we can get a lot more, or get into that 6th, 7th state. We can really get into those higher vibrational levels of consciousness. That's when we can allow true forgiveness. Not forgetting, okay, when I do Ho'oponopono and I have Ho'oponopono sessions, you never forget what happens to you, okay? Trauma, significant events, all of those other things, they happen to us. They are part of who we are. They are necessary for our soul's growth. We chose them. Now, I'm not saying we chose everything, okay? I don't want to get into the discussion about, did we choose cancer? Did we choose abuse? Did we choose those things? I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about on some level, right? On the level, in my opinion, it's the level, my belief system, it's the level of before we were here, we needed our soul's growth. So there were opportunities that are going to come to us. And our challenges are great opportunities for learning, right? So I'm just going to leave it at that. So 6th and 7th meditation can get you into those higher consciousness, hallucinogenic drugs, so psilocybin, like mushrooms, other things that are kind of getting more popular again. Those what is it, class C, whatever drugs, those kind of things. Those can get us into expanded states of awareness. Focused exercise. Athletes who are really focused, they say they get into the zone, right? That's a higher state of consciousness. That is when your body, you're expanded. Like, I don't know how it has to say it, but you're just expanded. So it's an expanded state of awareness. It's an expanded state of consciousness. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely blissful when you can get into these higher states of consciousness. So during Blue Star Reiki training, we got into our higher states of consciousness a couple of times, and it was absolutely incredible with meditation, because Dr. Rod was trying to see how high we could go. He was trying to help give us techniques in order to train our bodies and train ourselves to see how high we can go, okay? So after 6 and 7, you start getting into 8 and 9. And 8 and 9 are those complete higher states of consciousness. Very few human beings can ever get in that highest state of consciousness. Monks go live in a monastery, Buddhist monks go live in a monastery for training, just in the hopes of being able to access the 8th and 9th levels of consciousness, because it's really difficult. Because remember, if 3D is our physical, 8 and 9 are up here, that's really high. How are you able to get from 3D to 9th, right? 9th state of consciousness? It's really difficult, but it's not impossible, okay? So you can get up there. That is when you are able to go to a place where you are just, you're yourself, but you're also part of the oneness of everything. And I did that. So it was really amazing. I've done that a couple of times. I know how to do that. And it's an amazing, incredible feeling. It's hard to even explain it if you haven't done it yourself. And it just takes some time. It is where it's where I can go to access my guides and angels. It's for me, it's the celestial realm. It's how I see them, how I speak to them, how I talk to them, how I get messages back from me. There are some really wonderful guided meditations that can help get you there. I took my daughter, who's 13, through a guided meditation to meet her spirit animal the other day, because I just want to start training her body. She's an empath. And I want to train her body in order to start being able to handle these higher levels of awareness. That's the other thing. Our bodies are here. They're our vehicles, and they're here to keep us on this earth. And we have got to train our bodies and our nervous system to be able to handle it. Just like an athlete, you can't go out and win an Olympic gold, medal. You have to really train for it. I have had to really train my body and my system to be able to handle this amount of energy. And I had unhealthy ways of coping and healthy ways of coping. And I had to do the shadow work to really get rid of, release my unhealthy coping mechanisms that I learned As a child with like baby brain, I learned how to cope in the world when I was in that infant state, that how to project myself and how to shut down other areas of myself. Those became shadow aspects of myself, and I had to do that. That's what NLP does. It helps eliminate self-sabotaging beliefs, and it helps eliminates emotional baggage. So all of that is really, really important, because you've got to train your body to be able to get to these higher states of consciousness. Now, remember, being able to get to a higher state of consciousness or not get to a higher state of consciousness is just a personal thing. Nobody is better or worse if they can do it or they can't do it, okay? Nobody is a better intuitive or a worse intuitive, all that kind of stuff. You are, it's just, where are you at in your journey? Where are you at in your journey? If you want to be a better intuitive, then you need to take classes, you need to learn, you need to study it to be a better intuitive. If you want to be an energy worker, you need to take classes, you need to study it, you need to learn it. Just like getting a PhD, you want to become a doctor, what do you have to do? You study it. You want to become a chiropractor, you got to go to school, right? So you can do this. I wanted to bring this up to you because you can do this. I am no more special than any of you. I have just really committed myself for the last 25 years to learning. And I got rid of a lot of limiting beliefs and a lot of emotional baggage, which is still there, my friends, and it will be the last breath. But I got rid of a lot of emotional baggage to be able to stand in my authenticity and say, I am a healer, right? And I'm going to say that to you right now, you guys. I am a healer. I am an intuitive. I am an empath. I am these things, and I am proud to be these things. But it took a really long time for me to be able to say that. It took me a really long time for me to say I was an artist, right? That was such a big dream for me, that how could I be an artist when I couldn't draw? Right? That was a limiting belief. So, okay. It's long, you guys. This is a long talk today, and I'm probably not going to get to too many cards, and please forgive me for that. But this is a really important talk, and it really came in from my team, and it was downloaded yesterday as I was doing the Blue Star Reiki to really give this lesson to you all today, and that was really more important than the cards. I promise you next week I will do more cards and less talking, but I just, next week's Labor Day weekend, I'll just try to do all readings if I can. I will. I won't do. Actually, I just said, they just told me to do it. They're like, yes, Jen, make today the talk and make next weekend the cards. Okay. But I will get there. So the reason why this is important is because I want you to be able to see yourself, and I want you to be able to see your journey in this theory of the 9 stages of higher consciousness. Okay. I want you to see, where are you? Are you good with that? Do you like where you're at? Do you want to hear your angels and guides? If you want to hear your angels and guides better, I can tell you, you've got to find a way to get into an expanded state of consciousness in order to do that. So meditation is an important way. It's a very healthy way to get into an expanded state of consciousness. Walking meditations, swimming meditations for me, being able to move the body, but you get into that place of that zone to get into the zone. So if you want to be more empathetic and you want to be able to feel more empathy and be able to express more empathy, it takes training. Okay, you guys, it just takes training. I'm doing my Reiki circles every single, the first Sunday of the month. And part of what I want to do on my Reiki training is to train you guys in your sensitivities. So I'm going to give you a little bit of training in the beginning, and I'm going to give you 20 minutes of healing, and then I'm going to answer questions at the end. Okay. So if you're interested in this energy, and now with my Blue Star training, oh my gosh, and the fact that it switched it and everything else, I'm like, I cannot wait to share, because I'm also a teacher, right? That's one of my big things, is to be a teacher. So today's topic is important so you can see you in it. Where are you in your journey? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Where do you want to be? There is so many resources available these days, you guys. There's a lot of ways to learn about Reiki. Usui Reiki is the traditional Reiki. I did traditional Reiki up until this weekend, 20 plus years of traditional Reiki. And then this weekend, I flipped everything on its head, because when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? It took me that long to assimilate it. So now that's what I just did. And I'm ready to really teach this, okay? Okay, so wanted to give you the 9 states of consciousness. You can find out more information if you want. And I think that's good. I think that's what I wanted to tell you. So with the Reiki coming up and where you are in that, let me see if there's anything else I need to touch on. I kind of got on a roll there for a minute. No, they're telling me that I need to be quiet. They're telling me I need to be quiet. And they're telling me to let that assimilate. The only reason for today's topic, you guys, was to just present this information to you. If you've heard it before, then it's a review, and it's just a review through my lens and my team's lens, right? It's my way of assimilating it and processing and putting it back out to you. So if you've already heard about this, please take it with beginner's mind, open mind, and consider it a review. If you haven't heard it before, then consider this as just a crack, right? I just presented you a little box, a theory, in a little bitty box, and we just barely cracked the lid open in a half an hour. So we just cracked it open. So now the choice, like anything else, the choice is yours. You can put the lid back on, you can crack it open, you can let it stay open, or you can do a little bit more research and you can crack it open. Or you can just let it land, let it sit, and then let your body assimilate it. Whatever, in any of my readings, in any of my Reiki, in anything I do, this is what I always tell you. If it resonates with you, then it is for you, okay? If it resonates with you, it's for you. If it doesn't resonate with you, then either it's not time, because remember, when it's time, right, the teacher appears when the student is ready. So either it's not time for you yet, and it's going to be further along in your journey, or it just doesn't interest you at this point right now, and that's fine. Do whatever interests you. Follow your passions, follow your heart, follow yourself on this journey, and be your authentic self, speak your authentic truth, because that's how you manifest your dream life. You got it?